Okay, welcome to Miss Sussman's class. As always, please make sure that you have a pencil and paper so that you can take notes and keep track of your thoughts as we work through these problems. Our central question for today is how can you rename a mixed number to subtract a larger fraction? That sounds way more complicated than it is. Today we talked about adding and subtracting fractions with mixed numbers. Well, we're going to take it a step further, and I'll show you what I mean in the next slide. Okay, here we have 5 1/8 minus 3 3/8. Now, as we learned today in class, what you need to do is subtract 1/8, take away 3/8. Red flags should be going off in your mind right now, because if I hold up one finger for the 1/8, I cannot take 3 from it, can I? You can't do it, and you cannot flip your fraction around because 5 is the whole number and it's bigger than 3. So we can't do 3/8 minus 1/8. We can't do that. Now, in regular subtraction, when I don't have enough, what do? I regroup. I go over and I borrow and I regroup, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I can come over to this 5, cross it out, and make it a 4. Now, I have one whole, okay, and I could just go plus 1, but that's not really going to help you, is it? It's not going to help you at all. But what I can do is I can write the 1 as 8 over 8. This is one whole, isn't it? I could have written as 1 over 1, 2 over 2, 3 over 3. I chose 8 over 8 because I wanted my denominators to match. Well, what is 1/8 plus 8/8? It's 9/8. Okay? And can I subtract 9/8 take away 3/8? I sure can. So I'm going to do that. And 9 take away 3 is 6. I keep my denominator the same. And then I go ahead and subtract my whole numbers. Don't forget to do that, because these problems are not hard, but there's a lot of steps. And so those of you that like to rush and get through things and hurry, you're going to be the ones that have the problem, because this is slow and steady so that you make sure you cover each step. Okay, so now I'm going to subtract my whole numbers. 4 take away 3 is 1. And my answer is 1 6/8. Can you check it? Absolutely. You can add 1 6/8 plus 3 3/8, and you end up with 4 9/8. And 9 is bigger than 8, so it ends up being 5 1/8. Now, is 6/8 in its simplest form? It is not. And you want to kind of start practicing putting these numbers in simplest form. I'm looking at 6 and 8, and I can tell that they can both be divided by 2, which I'm going to do, and get 3/4. So my final answer is 1 3/4. Now, that was a lot of steps, but it was not a lot of hard steps. Okay, you guys can do this, but we're going to work a few more I'm going to work a few more for you before you have to do any by yourself, so hang in there. Okay, now we have 3 4/12 minus 1 6/12. I cannot take away 6 from 4. I can't do it. If you hold up 4 fingers and try to take away 6, you run out of fingers. What I can do is borrow one whole, okay, and I'm going to add it as 12 over 12. Because 12 over 12 is one whole, and it makes it so much easier to do this part of it. Okay? 4 plus 12 is 16. My denominator stays the same. 16 12s take away 6 12s is going to leave me with 10 12s, and then I subtract my whole numbers. Okay? 2 take away 1 is 1. Is this answer in simplest form? If you said no, you are correct. I can simplify by dividing by 2. I divide the numerator and the denominator, and I get 5/6. Now, if you are checking with inverse operations, you need to check using this number, not this number, okay? And if I add 1 and 10/12 plus 1 and 6/12, I will get 2 and 16/12, which is this answer. So I'm okay. And then when you simplify, it becomes 3 and 4/12. But we'll talk about that more in class. Okay, important things to remember is that when you are borrowing over here and you're adding the one whole, you always want to add it as 12 over 12. If your denominator was a 6, it would be 6 over 6. If it was a 7, it would be 7 over 7. Okay, that's kind of the key here to remember. And then you kind of want to make sure that you do all the steps. Don't forget to add, or subtract your whole numbers, and make sure you simplify. All right, let's look at another one. Okay, 3 and 3/6 minus 1 and 4/6. What I would like for you to do is, at this point, you should either be kind of starting to getting it or completely clueless. If you're feeling completely clueless, that's okay. Rewind and watch the first two problems again. If you're kind of starting to get it, I want you to pause the video, work this one out, and see if you and I get the same answer. Go ahead, I'll wait for you. Okay, you should have done something like this. You should have realized that you cannot take away 4 from 3, so you borrow, and I'm going to add it as 6 over 6, because that's the same as one whole, and I get 9 over 6. 9 take away 4 is 5. My denominator stays the same. 2 take away 1 is 1. So your answer should be 1 and 5/6, and that is in simplest form. I want you to notice a couple of other things. You notice I'm writing everything out. Okay, I write all of this out, and you need to do the same thing. It just makes life easier. I know sometimes we want to be in a hurry and skip steps and go quickly and rush. In this particular case, if you rush with these problems, you'll make sloppy mistakes and you'll get them wrong. So make sure that you're slowing down, taking your time. This is not stuff that I want you to be doing in your head. I want you to be writing this out. Okay, hopefully you got the right answer. If not, see where you made your mistake. See if you can figure it out. If you can't, then you need to go back and watch some of these examples again until it starts to make sense to you. Okay, this one you're going to notice looks a little different, doesn't it? There is nothing here, is there? Well, actually there is. If you want to, you can even write it 0 over 0. It's up to you. But really it's a 0. It's 3 minus 2.5. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to borrow. And you can just leave this as 2 over 2. 2 take away 1 is 1. My denominator stays the same. 2 take away 2 is 0. So I am left with just 1/2. Okay, the next problem is going to be your homework, so make sure that this is all making sense to you. You're going to have one problem for your homework that we'll go over tomorrow in class. Okay, here's your homework. It's 3 and 5/12 minus 8/12. Okay, good luck. If you were having a really hard time with this, that is okay. Just write down any questions that you have. If you're not able to answer this, that's okay too. But you've got to have notes and things showing that you did in fact do your work and watch the video, okay? So do the best that you can, and we'll go over this tomorrow in class. Good luck.